Be the Talk, episode 327, featuring Andrey Seas. Welcome to Be the Talk. We go behind the talk 7 days a week for tips and techniques to help you change the world. I'm Nathan Eckel, and a talker myself. I'm interviewing others who change the world with their talk. You can too, even if you've never given a talk before. Let's get started with today's show. We are live with Andrey Seas. Andrey, are you ready to talk?
Absolutely. I was born to talk.
Andrey Seas is a speaker, writer, and CEO of Seas Media, a marketing firm that focuses on helping financial service professionals get more clients. His passions include marketing, personal development, and sharing his story of transformation to inspire. Andrey Seas, welcome to the talk.
Honored to be here. Thank you.
Your talk is called Choosing Love, and it really starts out in a place where more of us really have been than we would choose or like to admit. A lot of anxiety. You were a law school student and you thought you were having a heart attack. It turned out to be a panic attack. And, it really started you on this journey on finding things that bring you joy and love. Instead of just doing, your old value system, you really changed the way that you worked and the way that you were able to move forward in life, doing things that you love instead of things that just bring anxiety and panic. So please, Andrey, take us behind the talk.
Yeah. It's exactly like you said. I was giving in more towards social pressures and expectations of, kind of a traditional path and what was safe and what was validating of, my intelligence and other people's acceptance of me and all that. Right. So, for me, it was actually, even though I was going down that path, I also see that I'm also a generally positive person. So I justified it in my mind and I saw the positive aspects of it. But eventually going down that path, like you mentioned, got me to that dark place of depression, anxiety. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I felt stuck because I had a law degree and I felt like that was the only path for me because I was so committed. I had to, the only way forward was to double down on it. Otherwise, and that was also what I attached my identity to as well. And that's something that's extremely, powerful because, we often revert to how we see ourselves and we cling to that identity that we work so hard to build, but once I was able to do away with that, by going through the blessing of having a panic attack, and really kind of, doing that self-introspective work and talking to the right people and choosing love, then I was able to kind of see the light, so to speak, and choose a more passionate path for myself.
Yeah, well, and I mean, the identity thing is absolutely huge because most of us, if not all of us that are watching this right now, we have that experience, and especially in American culture, Canadian culture, Western culture, we're wrapping ourselves around that money-making identity, that professional identity that we want to have, even as, artificial or augmented intelligence is starting to kind of strip and outsource that, even from us. So, I mean, good for you for doing the hard internal work to really bring forth something that's more organic to you. So, can you kind of take us, fast forward us through the process for anybody who's going through that right now? Maybe they're in law school, maybe they're in medical school, maybe they're in some other kind of very, engineering or something like that. And it's great to do the hard work, but it's also really important to do the hard internal work so that you're going to be able to work on yourself and make a better you, 20, 30 years down the road. So can you just kind of delve in, take us through that process of you discovering, how to do things that you love that are also profitable too?
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, I don't want to preach like this, naive idealism of, just follow your passion and then magically everything's going to come together. Right. I mean, you also have to be very practical, very, you have to have the support around you of people that believe in you, people that can encourage you, open doors for you. You have to invest a lot in personal development because the road ahead is really tough, right? Because it's complete unknown territory, right? Because everything you've ever known, you're literally putting aside and you're saying, no, I'm actually going this direction where, I have no idea what's waiting on the other side. And a lot of it too has to do with, creating win-wins and, maybe not necessarily going all in immediately, but, taking little steps, and creating that win-win scenario, which usually exists. And it usually involves doing a lot of work and, making a lot of sacrifices in order to really create momentum in that direction. So I've been blessed with, like I said, being surrounded with good people and always pursuing personal development, always pursuing a lot of really, a really strong network of people that can support me and encourage me and open doors and do a lot of cool things for me.
So, the character in your talk is Taro the ostrich. Tell us a little bit about Taro the ostrich, because all of a sudden you're talking about the one thing and then there's an ostrich in there. So what does the ostrich symbolize for you, and why did it work its way into your talk?
Yeah, so the ostrich is a friend of mine named Taro, and there was actually supposed to be a picture of him in the crowd saw it, but for whatever reason, the technical didn't display it at the end.
Oh, sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
That's a tip for everybody. We're not at the Blitz round yet, but if you have more than like one slide in your talk, it might not make the edit.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, because it's a really cool picture too of me and Taro. I'm hugging him and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Taro is an ostrich, and I met him in South Korea. And the reason why he made his way to the talk was because the theme of our TEDx event was what it means to be human. And I started the talk with me talking about Taro and the similarities that we've had and we share, and then I kind of started discussing, but what really makes us different? What truly at our core makes us different? And my conclusion was that humans are on this journey that other people are not, which is Paulo Coelho's quote, the author of The Alchemist. And the quote is that life is a long pilgrimage from fear to love. And that's why my talk is called Choose Love, because I outlined that journey in my particular life and how to choose love each and every day. So Taro worked himself in the presentation because I was contrasting myself and Taro.
So I love that quote. Life is a long journey from fear to love. So,
yes.
I mean, a pivotal point in that journey is taking an really honesty, looking at yourself and making course corrections when that needs to happen, so that you don't go down a path towards greater anxiety and fear, but instead can open doors to love. So how has that happened for you? How have you opened those doors in addition to, the career change? What were some other doors? The career change, Taro the ostrich, who you love. What were some other doors that you opened up?
Yeah. It's really a day-to-day thing. I'm not even, referencing it from like a macro perspective. I'm also referencing it from a micro perspective. Each and every decision is either, the way I see it and the way other people have talked about it is it's either a step forward towards love or a step back towards fear. And it follows, one of the core personal development principles, which is that, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you kind of train your mind and train your processes and your routines to really be open to that, and to be aware, better said, of you making that decision from moment to moment to moment and choosing love, particularly in my case, it was self-love. Because that was something that I struggled in doing for a really long time. I was always a very kind of self-sacrificing, do things for others type of person and ignore my own, and we
you
can
were
go
a
into
classic martyr, martyr messianic complex right there for you, Andrey.
that was exactly it. And, it sounds noble on the surface, but, once you really analyze and dig deep, it's really not, right? Because if you can't love yourself and take care of yourself, then you can't really, give back to the extent that you have the potential of giving back.
Yeah.
So definitely that's something I learned.
Well, we've been enjoying this conversation with Andrey Seas. His talk is called Choosing Love. And we're going to find out more about the actual process of preparation for his TEDx talk here in just a moment for the Blitz round. Hey, Talk Universe. I hope you've been enjoying today's episode with today's guest. But you know what? Many people want more than that. Many people that listen to Be the Talk actually want to give a talk. And if that's you, you're not alone. listen to the rest of this podcast. At the end, I'll have a free resource for you just for listening. And we're back with the Blitz Round with Andrey Seas. It is time for the Blitz Round. I'm going to ask him a series of either-or questions related to the preparation and performance of his talk. Andrey, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Were you invited to speak or did you apply?
I was invited by a previous speaker, and then I applied and I got interviewed.
Excellent. All right. Are you a memorizer, improviser, or a blender?
To be honest, I'm an improviser. However, I was forced to memorize, and that was tough, to be honest.
One of many improvisers who were forced by the process to memorize.
Yes, it was painful.
But you pulled it off.
Yeah. It could have been better, but I pulled it off.
What's a tip, tool, or technique that helped you?
A tip, tool, or technique was a more of a mindset approach to the talk, which was it's not about me, and to detach myself from any comparison, any inkling, any temptation to make it about myself. Like, what is the crowd going to think of me? Am I going to stumble on my words? What if I don't convey this point well enough? What if I don't like the recording, right? Like all these things. My biggest tip is get rid of that, because it's not about you.
What was the most painful part of your talk to cut out?
The most painful part of my talk, to cut out was my K-pop references, because the talk was actually in South Korea, and I wanted to build a lot more rapport with my audience than I had the time to or did. So, and I would have done that extremely well by talking about my love for K-pop.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the most unexpected, strange, or just plain weird thing that happened during or right before you went on to speak, Andrey?
Unexpected or strange thing. I guess unexpected was that I went longer than I thought I would. I could have, I memorized it, and, everything was supposed to go for a certain amount of time, but it actually went longer. And I didn't expect that. So maybe something in my pacing or the slides or something, it went way longer than I expected. So practice your talk.
No surprise with that. Time changes on the stage.
Yes.
It absolutely is a different
really
beast. So that's the importance of preparation and really listening to the organizers and everything else. Right there. So we've been enjoying this talk, this Blitz Round with Andrey Seas. His talk is called Choosing Love. We have a link to that talk at BeTheTalk.com, or you can just type it into YouTube, as well as we're going to give you a link to Andrey's website. It's AndreySeas.com, and I'm going to spell it. It's actually AndreySeas.com. AndreySeas.com. And we'll be back in just a moment with Andrey Seas' final word of advice for us. Hey, Talk Universe, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you want to give the talk to change the world, but you don't know how or even where to start, no problem at all. Go to BeTheTalk.com/get accepted for my new 5-day email course that'll show you how. Absolutely free. Just go to BeTheTalk.com/get accepted. And we're back with the final word of advice from Andrey Seas. What is it?
Yeah. So when you give a speech, for me, I already talked about the mindset part of not making it about you, right? And when you think too much about your nervousness and yourself, then you're making it about yourself, right? So think of the person you're there to serve. But also something I learned from Mel Robbins, author of the 5-second rule, is if you feel kind of a little anxious or a little nervous, you need to reframe that in your mind as the fact that you're excited, that, this is your body preparing you for the moment, and, more blood pumping into your brain, and excitement and positive energy, not negative nervous energy. So when you do that, you feel a lot more empowered, and you actually feel that jolt of energy, which is really powerful.
Andrey Seas, thank you so much for carving out time to be on the talk today and sharing your wisdom with Talk Universe.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Nathan.
Thanks for listening to Be the Talk. For tips and resources to help you change the world, go to BeTheTalk.com. See you tomorrow.